Let's go ahead and stir the pot a little, shall we?
That was it. He's stirring the pot. So you already know that you're going to get pushback. Sir, I turned this camera on because I knew that I was going to have a discussion about this topic. I'm not going to be surprised if somebody disagrees with me. That would be really silly. Like, well, you have independent thought. You're able to be an independent thinker and you can have an opinion contrary to mine. That's perfectly fine.
I want all the smoke.
Why are you surprised when people push back on you, sir? And watch what he does. The cope is serious here.
Last Friday, 10 minutes before dismissal time, I decided to live stream my students helping me take my hair out. There was quite the discourse in the chat.
You didn't have to live stream it though, sir. You do realize you didn't have to live stream it. You didn't have to do that.
Which had people saying this was inappropriate and other people saying this was completely fine. There was nothing wrong with what I was doing and people were just making it weird. So of course I had to bring this issue to the big stage.
So this is an issue that I noticed with him. Instead of dealing with this offline, and this is probably this generation, everything has to be dealt with. Everything has to be content. Everything has to be content. But it doesn't have to be. You didn't have to live stream this. Now, he's going to use it as he's going to say that this video shows that nothing was inappropriate going on between him and the female students. Okay, that's fine. But guess what? You didn't have to do it at all.
I would like to represent myself in this case, Your Honor, if I may. Number one, for a little context, I had a hair appointment immediately after school and I needed my hair taken out beforehand. I would have taken it out the night before, but that Friday we had a camera crew coming in to shoot a promotional video and I was one of the ones being interviewed. So
okay, I'm sorry. That is the lamest excuse I've heard. He's gonna give a lot of lame excuses.
Some of y'all put sugar on y'all grits, so you can't tell me nothing.
Because they had a camera crew coming in and he had to be filmed, he needed to leave his braids in, but he was gonna get his braids done after school. If you've noticed, and you're gonna see many pictures of him, he's worn hats in class, he's worn do-rags, he's worn turbans, hoodies. You mean to tell me you couldn't have done a video with a hat on? You couldn't have done a video with a turban on because you've done it before. Why not? The braids are not that necessarily well. I mean, if you're going to be getting them redone, that means they're probably already unkept, if you will. So it wasn't like you're looking that much different. Why not just take the hair out and put a hat on? You could put a turban on. You could put a do-rag on. You've done it before. You could have had a hoodie on, a baseball cap.
To look presentable, so I didn't take my hair out. I didn't have the time to do it all myself because it would have taken me forever. So naturally, I asked about 4 or 5 of my over 100 best friends to assist me.
I don't know what number red flag we're on, if somebody's been keeping score on red flags. But as a teacher, I would really hope, and dare I say pray, if you are 20 years or older, that none of your friends are minors. I'm sorry. There's no reason for me to say my best friends, and he says he has over 100 best friends, are minors. You can call them your children. You can call them your students, young scholars. But the idea that they're your best friends is epic problematic.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
That's how you got here. And I totally can appreciate trying to be eclectic, trying to be capturing the mind and such of that nature. But sir, these can't be your best friends. And maybe he was just using it as a term, but it's kind of, when you see later on, I think these were his friends. I think it really was. Let's go.
Taking my hair out and they all agreed. Number 2, this was at the end of class. This week we were doing STEM fair presentations. Since it was Friday and all of my students did an excellent job on their STEM fair projects and presentations, I told them if we get one solid presentation in this class, I'll end class a little early and they can have fun and play basketball, darts, or be on their phones or whatever. And during that time, my team would help me take my hair out.
Okay. You might not have noticed it, and maybe if you are of the lighter persuasion, I think little girls of all melanin contents have had braids before. Did you notice that he has like true hair care products? He had some kind of spritzer spray. There's tons of combs in here as well. I'm not saying that all of those are his. Maybe they were the little girls' combs, but all those little girls have braids in their hair. Did they actually have those combs, or did you bring those to school with the intent of having the students do your hair for you? I'm just asking a question because it doesn't look like a good look, but let's continue.
These were students from my class, but others
Yeah,
were
see, there's a
students from
green,
other classes.
what's that, rat tail comb? Look, there's 4 of those rat tail combs with that long pick at the end. There's 4 of them in this picture right here. He had some spray. Did he bring that? Or did the girls already have that? Just wondering. Because it seems convenient that they had it and you needed it. Just wondering, especially like a spray, for crying out loud. These are students that are coming from around the school building to tend to Mr. I think his name is White, Mr. White's hair. That seems problematic. I'm sorry. I don't know how you make that make sense. I really, truly don't.
I would offer them a pass at the beginning of the class period, requesting their assistance 10 minutes before dismissal. I told the teachers only send them if all of their work was completed and they had good behavior. They all met the criteria, so 10 minutes before dismissal,
And he's
they
live
showed up for
streaming
their
this.
job. My next point I'd like to make is, if I was a female teacher, those people wouldn't be in the comments saying, "Oh,
No, that's wrong too.
It's false.
I'm going to tell you right now. First of all, I've never seen, and most schools are, dare I say, 80, maybe even depending on grade level. In high schools, it can be a good mix. You know, it might be 60-40. But elementary school, you're talking 90-10, maybe 95-5 women to men ratio. I've never seen a student do a teacher's hair. Never. Now, have I seen teachers taking out their extensions? Absolutely. I've seen teachers while the kids are playing at recess, they're taking out the weave. I've seen teachers while the kids are at lunch, watching a movie on Friday, they're taking out their extensions. I've never seen a student take out a teacher's extensions. And I've seen a lot of different things. I've worked a lot of different schools. So the idea and the notion that if a teacher was doing it, it wouldn't be problematic is dumb. But even more than that, it's irrelevant. Sir, what you're doing is not appropriate. Because guess what? The other teachers didn't live stream it. So even if there was Miss Bumblebee down the street or Miss Caterpillar down the hallway, if she was doing that, she had at least enough common sense to not live stream it, sir. That's where you went awry. But let's continue.
this is weird, this is inappropriate." Because me personally, I don't think there's anything weird about this. People are saying, "Oh, that's too intimate." To me, it's literally just hair. It doesn't have to be weird.
It's not.
Some people have never had cool teachers, and
It's not a matter of being cool. And see, please understand,
Pure fiction.
you as a learning professional, your goal and desire should not be to be depicted as cool. When I was in high school, I was a troubled child. Let me back that up. I was in middle school. I was a troubled child. And there was a substitute that would come to the high school, and he was a former Army captain. He was serving as a substitute in my school district, and he would come to school and he would give me business all the time. He would cuss me out. He would straighten me out. And I hated Mr. Hogan. I did not like that guy at all. He would, Whitaker, he would give me the business because I was always doing dumb stuff. I was always in the mix. So when I moved on from high school and came to middle school and came to high school, he was actually a teacher at the high school. And Mr. Hogan gave me the business all the time. All the time. He gave me the business every time he saw me. He was not letting me get away with being subpar. I never, under any circumstances, said James Hogan was cool. I never said he was cool. I said a lot of other things that were not appropriate, but I never said James Hogan was cool. But you know what I knew? James Hogan had my best interest at heart. He wanted the best for me. And he was one of the reasons why I finally decided to go to college and did actually go to Morehouse because of his encouragement. He was a Howard graduate. But I was part of my move to go to college because James Hogan always put his foot up my butt. Always. Never, but I never, ever, ever. And I don't think until we got older, he ever shook my hand. I don't think we ever hugged. And matter of fact, truth be told, he actually invited me and my family to church. And he was a deacon at my church. And he was just your run-of-the-mill Baptist deacon, cuss you out on Monday through Saturday, singing Praise the Lord on Sunday. Just as hypocritical as today is Tuesday. But you know what, though? I never hugged that man until I graduated from high school. Never did. But James Hogan had my best interest at heart. I never thought he was cool. I never thought that he was cool. I always knew that James Hogan had a standard that I needed to rise up to. He never came down to it. He never sat there and talked about the stuff that we were talking about. If he saw us at lunch, he never lowered himself. He was always above us. And I knew that if I wanted to connect with James Hogan, I would have to rise up, not that he was going to come down. What is this young man doing? Because James Hogan would never done this.
Shows. I personally believe that building authentic relationships with students is paramount in being an effective teacher. I make sure my students know and can feel that I care about them beyond the schoolwork and all the stuff that I have to make them do.
James Hogan cared about me, and he cussed me out when I was acting a fool. He would call my mom. He would straighten me out if I was acting a fool. I never doubted that James Hogan cared about me, and I never did his hair. I'm just saying.
I take the time to get to know my students outside of academics because
James Hogan knew me. He invited me and my family to church together. He was the deacon at my church. I knew his wife. I knew Vera. I knew his family, and never did hair. Never did. And please understand, you can have an environment where students can be safe. You can have an environment where students feel loved and appreciated, and they don't have to do your hair. I for the longest time as a classroom teacher, the rule was we don't hug. So you could not roll up on me, especially if you're sitting down and a little kid or 7-year-old comes and wants to hug you. We don't hug, Mr. Whitaker. We don't hug. Now you can ask permission. We can shake hands, or you can walk up to me. We can do a little fist bump thing, but we don't hug. We don't do that. And it doesn't matter. No, I don't do that. That's okay. It's perfectly fine. Nothing's wrong with that. Now, that being the case, you still know that if something goes left, Mr. Whitaker has your back. Mr. Whitaker cares about you. Mr. Whitaker is concerned about you. You just don't touch Mr. Whitaker. That's it. That's all it is. That's not anything creepy. That doesn't have to be wrong or bad. Just like on the same note, you don't have to allow them to play in your hair in order to demonstrate that you care about them. I would hope that they knew that you cared about them because you treated them correctly like human beings. Like that's, again, we don't have to do like either you hate them or you let them play in your hair. Like that doesn't make sense.